part we have discussed yesterday. This concept I told you yesterday,
Yes, sir.
that
No, sir.
each, I showed you, I guess, output of this. No, just recall. I have told you
Yes, sir.
that
Yes, sir.
each element itself can act as a iterable object. Like if an element is containing any child element, if one element contains many child element, so those all are objects of child element and they are present in its parent element. So that parent element also acts like a iterable object. You understanding? Clear? So it acts like an iterable, and as it's a iterable object, you can use it in a for loop. So you have a root element, okay, and root element is having many child element. So all those child elements are present in this parent element. So you can use a for loop to retrieve that each child element. Okay, and then every child will have a tag name, attribute, text also, if it is possible. Okay, so you can traverse it. Yesterday I guess I showed you this output.
Yes,
No?
sir.
Huh. Then you can access that child by using index as well. That part also I guess I told you. Okay, so children are nested and we can access specific child by index. Like if I write root of 0, so it will give you the first child element of this root. And if I write root of 0 of 1, then it will give root's first child's second child. Getting? Yesterday diagrammatically also I showed you. No? So this is root. Now who is representing this? Root objects, suppose. Getting? So if there are 3 child element, right, and they also further have some child. Getting? So when I write root of 0, so it will consider this child. Okay, and when I write root of 0 of 1, so root means this element and all these 3 elements, 3, 4, whatever are there. So all these elements are present in this root element. So root acts like a collection object, or root acts like a iterable object containing all these elements. And they also further can act like a iterable object containing their children. Okay? So when I write root of 0, it will take the 0th child. Okay? And then 0th child's first child, if I write 1. So this child will be considered. And when you get the reference to this, you can access its attribute, its text content, its tag name, everything you can access. Okay? So yesterday all that things I told you. So see, when I write root of 0 dot attrib, root of 0 dot attrib, so it will give you the dictionary of all the attributes of 0th child of root. Root's 0th child. Okay, root's 0th child's attribute, if there are any attributes over here. Okay? Or if I'm writing root of 0 of 1 dot text, so root's 0th child's first child's text content, 0th child's first child's tag name. This way you can access. So this demonstration also I am sure I've told you yesterday. Right, no? Okay? Yes, this was done, and I guess this iter also we did. No? Iter, and you give the tag name, so it will return you all the elements with that tag name. No? Just recall, all of you guys.
Yes, sir.
This was the last part. No? Yesterday, the last, when we finished up with the session, or we were about to finish the session, that time the last thing was this only, that is iter, and then give the tag name. Okay, so element objects, iter method, and the tag name. So it will return you all the elements with the given tag name, irrespective they are child or children's children, or their children, doesn't matter. That too here in paint I drawn and shown you. Like we have one child over here, B, then there are further children. Here also there is one B tag name, here there is one B tag name. Okay, and now I am writing root dot iter, root dot, okay, iter, and I am giving tag name B. Okay, so it will give you all the elements with the tag name B, starting from root's children, their children, their children, going on entire tree. So will it give you this element, then this element, then this element, all elements list it will return, and then you can traverse that list in a for loop, right? Yesterday I took that concept also and I showed you in a tabular form. Zip function, zip I used to get that tuple, and then I unpacked it in child 1, child 2, child 3, child 4. No? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
All of you.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday that demonstration I gave you. Okay. So element objects iter tag name method returns all the elements with the given tag name, which are children, its children, and so on. Okay. One example we did. Then I gave you one more demonstration, that I wrote root.iter title, then comma root.iter author, price, year 4 times, and that all 4 are going to return 4 iterables. That 4 iterables I gave to zip. So what does zip do? Take each value from each iterable. Yes or no? That is the functioning of zip. See what zip does. Suppose you are giving one iterable, another iterable, third iterable, like this, and this all things you are passing to zip. What zip does is it creates one more iterable, okay, in which there will be tuples containing each corresponding value from all iterable. So it will create one tuple 1, 5, 4, next tuple 2, 3, 5, getting third tuple 3, 2, 6, this way. So this way it will create tuples of each values, each corresponding value from all iterable, and then you'll get the tuples list. And this list, when I use in a for loop, when this list, so will it fetch one tuple at a time? Yes guys, at a time will it fetch one tuple, one tuple. So at a time one tuple is fetched. So one tuple is containing 3 values, so I have to unpack it in 3 variables. So that I did yesterday, one program in tabular form. I printed it, then I used some formatting concept, percentage 30s and all. Okay? See over here. So here what I have written, root.iter title. So will it give you all the elements whose tag name is title, starting from root children, root's children, and its children, and its children, and going on. So in the entire tree starting from root, as many elements are there with the name title, all are written in one iterable, and you are fetching them one by one, and then each element's attrib and title you are printing. Text you are printing, text and the attribute, this gets printed. Get it? So this demonstration, I'm sure yesterday I gave you. We'll just quickly see that, we'll recall it. See, yesterday I gave you. In the first part, it is only returning you all the elements from this book. From this book XML, it is, and root means this bookstore. It's your root object in this program. This root object is representing whom? This bookstore. Okay. And then when I wrote root.iter title, so from here onwards, inside this children's children, it will search all the elements with the tag name title. Getting? So here one is there, second, third, fourth. So as many elements with the tag name title are there. They all are coming in that collection, and then you're using in a for loop. So from that list we are fetching one by one value. Each value is again an object of element. So we are printing that elements attribute and text. So elements attributes and the text content, attribute and the text content, attribute and the text content, that gets printed. You understanding? And in the next program, just what I did modification. Okay, how many iterables you'll get? One iterable, second iterable, third and fourth. Okay. Now can you tell me in this iterable which elements will be there? In this iterable, all which element objects will be there? Those element whose tag name is title. In this, all the element whose tag name is author. Here, all the element whose tag name is year and price. And this all four iterables are given to zip. Now what does zip do? When it is given to zip, what will zip do? Will zip take each corresponding value from all four? 1, 1, 1, 1. Second value, second value, second value, second value from all. And will it create tuples of four values? One tuple. Second tuple of four values. Third tuple of four values. And all these tuples are again in one list, which who returns? Zip. And then this list I have used in a for loop. So when in a for loop I am using this list, will it fetch this one by one? So at a time one tuple is coming, but that tuple is containing four values. So I have unpacked in four variables. But that all four variables are also again objects of element. So I am accessing their text, text. Clear? Yes or no, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, the output it has printed this way. Can you see? All elements text content we are displaying. No? Each and every element's text content. Text content. Text content meaning the text which is between opening tag and the closing tag. This text content. This text content. Okay. All these text contents are getting printed here. Okay. Now there are few more methods also, that too we'll see. Like iter, there is one more called find all and the tag name. Give the tag name and the name of the method is find all. But in that it will return you all the tags with the given tag name, but which are only the immediate children. Getting? Whichever element is calling it. Okay. If one element E is calling that find all and passing tag name, so it will return all the elements with the given tag name. It will be again an element objects list. It will be a list of what element objects only. Element 1, element 2, dot dot. Means these all are objects of class element. Element object class, and then its list. Okay? Who will return find all. Okay? But only those elements which are with this tag name, and those elements are immediate children of E. Not children's, their children. Means the entire tree it won't search. It will only search the elements which are immediate child of E. So that provision also Python has given. Means this library has given. Okay? So see. Element objects find all and tag name method returns all the elements with given tag name, which are direct children of current element. You understanding? Current element means which element? The element which is invoking this find all. The element which is invoking this find all, its immediate children. Okay? And there is one more called as find. find all, and similarly there is find, but it will return you only the first child with that tag name. Meaning there can be many children with the same tag name. It may happen. I'll show you here. Like you have 2, and then here we have name slash name. Again, one more name is there. Okay? Again, one more. This way it's going on. Okay? So there are 3 elements with the same tag name, and they all 3 are children of 2. Get it? So suppose this 2 element is x, means x is this element object. This 2 element x is representing, and I am writing x dot find all name. So what it is going to search, or what it is going to return, it will return the list of all the element whose tag name is name, but those which are the immediate child of 2. So this all 3 will be returned. Possible we have one more element in this whole tree, okay, which is having same tag name. So that won't be considered. Only those which are immediate child of it. Getting? Now, instead of find all, if I write find, so it will return you only the first child with that tag name. So there are 3 with the same name. Then also it's going to return this first one only. Getting? So that provision also Python has given. Instead of calling Python, this library is given. Okay? So element objects find all method returns all the elements with the given tag name, but which are direct children. And there is one more element objects find method, again tag name, but returns only the first child with the given tag name. Okay? I hope you are understanding the differences. Okay? For you people, I'll just give you one demonstration to differentiate between. We'll take an example like 2 is having, suppose I'm saying from is also containing name. Okay? Okay, but now if I access this 2 and then I say find all name, it will return only this 3, not this one. And for note, that is if the root is note, and there if I write find all name, it won't return only anything. Why? Because note is not having an immediate child with the tag name name. Getting? We'll write a script, and in that I'll show you. Okay, instead of book I'll take note. Here if I'm writing root dot find all and I give tag name, nothing will come. Why? Because find all will just find all the elements with the given tag name which are immediate child of this element which is invoking it. Who is invoking find all? Root. Getting? Suppose I write this in a for loop. For x in. Why it is valid? Because find all is actually going to return you what? The list of elements with the given tag name. Whatever tag name you have given, it will return a list of elements with the given tag name, and that list you are using in a for loop. Okay, but those which are immediate child of root, and I am just printing its text, suppose. Okay, right? See, nothing gets printed. Why? Because root is not having immediate child with the tag name. Suppose instead of find all, if I would have written iter, what do you say? Will it return 6 texts? Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, then Sita, Radha, Meera.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Yes, because iter returns all the elements with the given tag name, which are this element. This means who is invoking it, which are children, children's children, and going on. See, is it printing 6 names? The difference I hope you understood between find all and iter. Now if I write root of 0 dot find all and then name, so will it return 3 names? Check. Root means this whole note. Root of 0 means 2. So root of zeros find all, and I'm saying name. Okay? Hope you're understanding. Right? So in this context, will it return only 3 names? See. Now instead of root of 0, if I'm writing root of 1, so will it return that other 3 names? Clear? You got it. And one small change I'll do. Suppose I'm writing root dot, no, only root I'm writing. Okay? See, for x in root. Now when I write for x in root, will it give each child of root? Yes or no, guys? Only when I'm writing for x in root. So means can your element object itself act as a iterable object? Yes. Right? So is it going to give each child of root? Each child of root means one time it will give 2, next time from, next time heading, next time body. Will it give like that?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now again in that what I'm writing, for y in x dot find name. Okay? And then I'm writing y dot text. Okay? Now actually x dot find name was not necessary to be written in a for loop because it returns only the first child. So I can just write y like this, y equal to x dot find name, and then I'm just printing that y's text. Okay? Now what is the interpretation of this? What this code interprets? So from root will it fetch one child every time? So in first time what will come in x? 2, right? This one. Next time what will come in x? From. Next time what will come? Heading. Next time what will come? Body. Isn't it? Okay. Each child of root. And then that child's first child with the tag name name. That child's first child with the name tag name name. So first time will it return only this element Ram. Next time that child's first child with the tag name name. So this one will be returned. And next don't have only first child with the tag name name, and body also doesn't have a first child with the tag name name. Right? So in that case what will happen? Nothing will be printed. Right? See. Now what is happening in the next case, when it goes to the next child, it doesn't have only, no? Is that object is only not there. So you have to cross verify, you have to check it and then do it. Okay, what that y has come. You understanding? Like if y is not none, then only do it. Then do this. Why you got it? For the first two case, it was successful. For the first case, it gave you this element. For the next case, it gave you this. But for heading, there is no child only, no? So it returns none. For body, there is no child only with the name. So none. And when the object is none, so can we access it text? No. So it throws an exception. Okay? So I'm just verifying it whether it is none and then doing it. Okay? See. Has it printed twice? Okay. Still it is. Not none. How? Who not none? Why have to write now? Why? The condition only I did wrong. Why not equal to this way I create. Okay? Got? The error is gone. So if your y is not none, then we are printing it. Okay? Okay, but guys, did you get the difference between find all, and iter? Just quickly give me the confirmation.
Yes, sir.
There is a difference, huh? Sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then next one more method is there called get. So if you give the attribute name to get, it will return its value, which you can get it by a dictionary form also. Means in a square bracket, if you give the name of attribute, it will give you value. Okay. So element objects get, and then the attribute name, if you give, it will return the value of that attribute. Getting? Example in this program only. Suppose for time being, I am giving some attribute x, suppose. Here also I am putting okay, all child I have given one attribute x. So in this program loop only, right? In this loop, here only if I write print x dot get, and then the attribute name is x only. So will it print value of it? Get only. So root represents your root element, and it will give you each child element every time. So first time what will come in x? This 2, next time from, next time heading, next time body. So that each child x attributes value I am printing. Getting? So if I run this, does it print test ram, best, sita, rest and fest? Now rest and value didn't come, fest and value didn't come because they were not having a child with the name, a child with the tag name. Okay? Now this example is doing work on our book example. So in this case, tell me root dot find all book. So will it return all the immediate children of root with the tag name book? Root's immediate children. Okay. So root means bookstore. Do you agree? Root means bookstore. So its immediate children with the tag name book is this thing 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So will it return 5 elements? Immediate children only it takes. Isn't it? Okay. So all the immediate children of root with the tag name book are returned, and then we are accessing its first child. with the tag name author. Every child's first child with the tag name author, because if some books have more than one author, like here, if there is one more author, okay, so will it return all authors or only the first author? First author, first author. If there are here three authors, so from that it will return only the first author. Understanding? See, so that first child of book means each book's first child will be returned, because find returns only the first child, but first child with the tag name author, its text you are accessing, and that first child's, sorry, that root's child's attribute category. Root child means this thing, no? Book, book, book. So its attribute category and its value. Okay, so that value, so that both things I am printing. See, the author and category. Got it? So any different possibilities you can try. In demonstration, I have given other possibilities also, right? You got it. So till here, this concept is clear, all of you. But unless and until you do it, you won't be confident. You have to do it also.
Yes, sir.
So can you show the program for get method?
I've used here, see, get tab. That each child was having attribute X only, instead of that if you take some other. Suppose attribute is T. Everyone is having attribute T. Okay? What I am doing is, root means note. Then it's every child I am accessing and every child's T attribute in this program. Root's child and every child's T attribute. Okay? And then every child's first child with the tag name. First child with the tag name. Line you understand clearly. It is not returning first child. It is returning the first child with the tag name. Because first child can be title also. No, here. Now here something name is there, but something, one other thing is also there here. Okay? Suppose here XYZ, like one tag XYZ is also there. So it is not going to return first child. It will return the first child with that tag name. Okay? So in my program, it is returning every time that child's first child with the tag name. And then we are printing its text content. Right? So in our example, that is note.xml, there are some children who don't have first child as name tag. Okay, so that time it was returning none. So I have just cross verified whether it is none. If it's not none, then print its text content. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Then proceeding with some more things. Next thing is, you can create entire XML document also through Python script, or you can make some modifications to the text content, or you can add any attribute, or you can change the value of an attribute. So that provision also Python has given. Get it? Like here we have this document, XML document. So suppose I want to add one new element over here, one more element I want to append, or one complete book only I want to append, entire one new book I want to append over here, or I want to make change of the attribute. Any attribute is there, I just want to change its value, or I want to add a new attribute, or I want to change the text content. Okay? So for that also provision is given. Okay? So how to do it? That is the next discussion. So an element object may be manipulated by directly changing its field, that is the text field. Okay, one by one I'll discuss. Suppose you want to change the text content of that element. The text content you want to change. Okay, so you can assign new text to the text property of that element. That element's text property, you give new text. You understanding? Like if root is bookstore, the root of 0 of 1 dot text equal to something if I write. See here I am writing. Root represents whom? Bookstore. Root of 0 represents first book. Root represents bookstore. Root of 0 represents this first book. Right? And then its first child represents title. And then its text content equal to, okay, and whatever it is. Clear? Now what will happen? This new text is assigned to it. So this text content, everyday Italian, is changed to that new content. But that new text come, but this is everything in memory. You understanding now? It is in memory. This whole document, XML document, from file it has come in memory in the form of elementary object. So all the changes are in the memory. Now that changes, if you want to again reflect it in the disk file. You understanding? So if you want it to be reflected in the disk file, you have to save it again. So how to save it at the end, I'll tell you. Same like in our Excel process. See, in the Excel handling, first we were opening that Excel file from disk into memory. So once it comes in memory, it becomes a workbook object. Then we were accessing sheet object. Then in the sheet we were doing changes. And all that changes were in the memory sheet object. Now it should reflect in the disk workbook file. So last we were calling workbook.save and saving it. Exact same procedure. Here you do the changes in the XML, but that changes are only in the memory object. That should be again reflected in your disk XML file. So last you will call write method of that element tree. Okay, so how to call that also we have to discuss. So till here it is clear. In one line only I have tried to put so many things. So first till here we'll take a pause over here. So this part is saying that okay, any element if you have, then that element's text property you can assign new text. So the text content can change. One. Second, if you have an element and you want to add a new attribute, or you want to add a new or modify the attribute, then call set method. Getting? See, example, here if I write root of 0 dot set. Now root of 0 means it is representing whom? A book we have closed. Okay? See, root of 0 represents this book. Do you agree, guys? Root means bookstore and root of 0 means this first book. Okay, so root of 0 dot set. Okay, now there are two attributes already. Suppose I write attribute cooking, comma, and the category I am changing. Get it? I wrote attribute cooking, attribute is category, and the value is cooking. Here I am writing XYZ. So what will happen now? Root element's first child, that is book, and that book's category attributes value is changed to XYZ. Now suppose if that element is having that attribute, then the value is updated. But if the attribute is not there, so that attribute is added. Like here, now there was category and one more is ISBN. Category and ISBN. I'm putting one more thing over here. Okay, suppose I'm putting publisher and xyz. So root of 0 dot set. So root means bookstore, 0 means the 0th child of that root, okay, which is also an element. Do you agree? And here one more attribute publisher will get added. You understanding? So what happens is, I hope you got it. Both things can happen. It can change the value also, you can add also. See, adding and modifying attribute use element object set method. Clear? Element objects, which method you'll call? Set method. Okay? Is it clear to you guys? I hope you're understanding. Till here, this first part is okay. Second part is okay. Now when we give to that set name of the attribute and the value, so if that element is already having that attribute, so only it will update value of the attribute. But if that element doesn't have that attribute, it will add that as a new attribute to that element. Is it clear? Okay, this part is clear to you. Then coming to the next thing, like if you want to add a child to that element, then use append method. Okay, elements, append method, and then give the child element. Now how to use it, I'll tell you. But you have to first create a child element and then pass that element to append. Means separately you have to create a object of element. I'll tell you. Now how to create object of element? By creating element class object, because element is a class, no? As it's a class, you can create an object of that class, and to its constructor you can give any tag name. Suppose I'm giving publisher. Okay, so what I have done, I have created one element object. See here, element object is created. Constructor, I gave the name of that tag. Okay, later also you can give tag name. Like suppose I do this way, e equal to element. So I have created one element object. Element is a class, so you can create an object of that class. You can create that object. So you have created object. Here you can write e dot tag publisher, e dot text, clear, b p b publications. Okay, what I've done is clear to you. I've created a child element, means I've created an element, then its text, its tag name. Okay, even you can add attributes also by writing e dot attrib equal to and give a dictionary is possible. But this e I have to append to someone. Okay, so suppose now I write root of 0 dot append an e. So this element e will be appended as a child element of 0th child of root. So root of 0 represents who? This book. So in this book it will add one more child over here. And what is that child? Publisher. But these all changes, again I am telling, are happening in memory tree object, memory element tree object. So it is in memory, and that you have to save it. So for saving, again there is a write method of element tree. Element tree's write method. Like in Excel case also, we were saving the entire workbook. So save was method of sheet or workbook. It was of workbook. wb.save I was writing. Do you remember? Clear? So I hope it is clear to you guys. So append is clear to you. And coming to the last part, that is saving all these changes which have happened in, these all changes are in memory elementary. Elementary. Who is elementary? This one. Is this your tree object in which the disk XML file from the disk, is loaded in memory, and once it comes in memory, it is encapsulated in this elementary object. So all the changes are in this object. They are to be again reflected in the disk. Clear? So for that, finally you have to call elementary, means here finally I'll call tree.write, getting, and give the file name. Okay, so whatever file name you give, it will get saved in that file. Clear? I hope you are understanding. Okay, so are these all parts clear to you? First part, then the second part, this third part, and the fourth part. I'll give you a demonstration for it, don't worry. Okay, see, in this demonstration you can see you're accessing all the child element with the tag price, all the children of root element, but with the tag name price. Will it return all the elements root.iter? Will it return all the elements with the tag name price? Yes. Then each element you are fetching in this for loop, that comes in price. So is this price going to be a element object? Yes. So it's text. What I'm doing is I'm getting the old text, converting to float, adding 5 in it, again converting to string and giving it here. You understanding? And to each child element with the tag name price, I'm adding one attribute called addition. And finally, I'm saving it again in book.xml. Getting? See, means what is going to happen in this book.xml, every price, this value is going to increase by 5. And here it is going to add one attribute called addition to that price. You understanding or no, all of you? So we will write an example. Okay, and are that all parts clear to you? First part which I told, that is manipulating directly text. Second, adding or changing the attribute value by using set. Then adding new child element by using append. And last I told how to save this all changes in the memory tree into a file on the disk. Okay, you can first see this, ki price 30 is there, 29.99 is there, 39. Now this prices should change, and here one attribute addition should come. Okay, so first what I'll do is, in the 7th code, this 3 lines I'll write same. Okay, instead of note I'll write book for loop for child in root.iter, and the child name is price, tag name is price. So will it return all the tag names, sorry, all the elements of root? Clear? All the elements which are children, children's children, going on, of root with the tag name price. So all they have come in a list form. Is this function will go, and here will one list come in which all the elements will be present. Yes or no, guys? That function will return a list, isn't it? So what that function is going to return? One list in which element objects are there? Only those element objects whose tag name is price. And then this list we are using in a for loop. So is it fetching this each element one by one? Getting? One by one, the element is getting fetched from this list in this child. And as it's an element, will it have tag, attribute, text, everything will be there. Getting? So you got it. So I am going to write over here this thing. Okay? See, then I am writing child.text is str, then float child dot text plus phi, suppose. Why I'm doing like that? Because the text property of that element, every element will have a text property. It is default string, though we know it is a number or a date or whatever, but this library treats it as a string. So I'm converting string to float. In float value I'm adding phi, and again that float value I'm converting to string and assigning here. Okay, and then to this child I'm adding one attribute called addition. Okay, addition, and 1 I'm giving. Okay, then some may ask, like, you give one demonstration of adding a child also. We will, don't worry, I'll add one child also in that. Okay, here first what I'm doing is only trying to modify the text content, trying to add an attribute and saving it. Now finally, to save it I have to call tree dot write and give the file name. Suppose I give book.xml only. Okay, any doubt in the example, please ask me. Okay, now if I open and see this book.xml, see, has it added? Can you see? Is the text increased by 5 by 5? Okay, see, it is changed. This 35, it was 30, it is changed to 35. And is one attribute addition equal to 1 added? Yes. Okay, and suppose you are interested in adding one child to every book called publisher, and we'll keep all publishers same only. Okay, so what change you'll do in this code? Can anyone tell me? Here only some modifications. I showed you also. I'm expecting from you guys. First you'll create an element. Yes or no? You'll create an element object.
And then we'll assign the text of to that element object.
Right. Okay. I'll create an element object. Okay. But element object, I have tried et dot element again. Why? Because this is present in that library. No? Et dot. Okay. So et dot element. Then e dot text. Sorry, before that I'll give a tag name. Tag name I'll give publisher. Then e dot text. We'll keep same name only, BPB or O'Reilly Publication, whatever common names you know. Clear? Pearson, whatever. And this element you have to attach to that child. So child dot append, okay, and give this e. Right? And again save it. Now okay, it is saying it should be takes at least one argument. I guess the tag name can I give here only. Okay, now we will open and see our book.xml. See, has it added one publisher, price? Okay, oh, it got added in the child. I got it. Why? Is it clear? Some view people understood why it happened like that, because I appended where in child I have appended, and this child means, you got it, price. Root dot iter returns what? Root dot iter returns all the elements with tag name price. So that tag name price is the child, and to that child it is getting added. So it got added as a child of price. Clear? Inside that it got added. So we don't want like that. What I'll do is, I'll make changes. I'll show you how to add it. Okay, see, to do this whole activity, you write a separate for loop for child in root. Now I hope you're understanding. So now it will give you each child of root. So each child of root is book, right? Root means bookstore. Okay, and each child of bookstore means this book, this book, this book, and then it will get added in that way. Okay, got it, no? So you are creating an element with the name tag name publisher, then its text says BPB publication, and we are adding it as a child, appending it as a child to this child, child dot append e. Okay, now if you run it and open that file, see, can you see, is publisher added in book? Inside book publisher is added, inside book publisher is added. Okay, publisher and then slash book, right? Okay, so hope you understood this part, right guys?
Yes,
Yes
sir.
or no?
Yes,
Then
sir.
if you want to remove any element, you can. For that also there is a method called remove. See, so to remove elements, use element objects remove method. So for example, if someone tells you that remove all the books whose prices, okay, are greater than something, some condition you have kept. Keep those books whose prices are more than 45, suppose. So this won't get deleted, this can get deleted, this will get deleted, this will get deleted, all three. Or other way you give, like those who have price less than 45. So less than 45 is only one. Okay, so all the books, it is somewhat same like querying on a database. We do query on MySQL table, same way you're doing query on XML file, because XML files are also for storing what? Information only. No? Their goal is also for storing data and then processing that data for your internal purpose. So if I'm telling you to do that activity, delete all the books whose prices are less than whatever price I am telling you, only those childs I want to delete. So can we do it? Yes. So to remove elements, use element objects remove method. So whichever element is calling that remove, that element will get deleted. Getting? So root dot remove and give that element. Okay. So which element you want to remove, that you have to give here. Okay. Now in this code what is done, I'll tell you. Or we will write it. I'll write a separate code. Okay, this part is clear. Now for child in root dot find all, and suppose I give book. ठीक है. तो will it return all the children of root, but immediate children's children not, because I've used find out. So it will return all the child element of root with the tag name book, and then that each child will come in this child, right? Next, what I'm doing is I'm getting that child's first child with the tag name price. Okay, see, so I'm giving p equal to child dot find, and the tag name is price. What will happen, that is clear? In this case, root dot find all book, so will it return all elements with the tag name book? That each book will come in child, then that each book's first child with the tag name price. So there will be only one child only with the tag name price, that will come in P. Getting? Now we'll check its P, float P dot text and less than 45 suppose. ठीक है. तो if that P's text is less than 45, okay, so I'll write child dot remove P. Whose child I am removing? Child's child. That child means each book, and that each book's no, I want to remove that entire book only. No, I don't want to remove price. That book only I want to remove. So I have to write root dot remove child. Means that complete child only will get deleted. Each child means each book, and that I have to delete from root. So I have to write root dot remove. But suppose you want to remove only that price tag of each child, then you will write child dot remove P. You understanding? Accordingly, the changes you have to do. Okay, guys. Now I'll save it. Root dot tree dot write and give the file name book.xml. Is this part clear to you guys?
So can
Any
we save it
doubts?
can we save it with a different file name?
Yes, why not? You can save it in other file as well. Suppose I'm saving it in one, means we'll have our original copy also. Very valid question. Okay, see, here I'm running the script. Okay, now you will be seeing two files, book and book one. Now book is intact. Now book one, when you'll see, okay, now you'll have 1, 2, 3 and 4 books. Means is one book gone? There was one book whose price is less than, right? One book was there. See this one, Harry Potter, J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter. So this entire book. Got it? So that is gone from book 1. So such queries come, like, means actually when you get a problem statement, in practical cases, when they'll give you automation of XML, like automation of Excel, the same way if they give you automation for Excel processing, so that time such questions only will be given. They'll give you queries and they'll say write a script for handling these queries. The queries, as I said, like delete all the books whose prices are less than, delete all the books from your XML file whose prices are less than this thing, or whatever condition is given. So you should be able to write the appropriate script for it. Okay? Got it? And suppose by mistake I wrote root dot remove child. Instead of that I'm writing child dot remove P. So will it remove that price tag only of all the child whose price is 45? What will be the difference in that context you are understanding? In that what you'll see is, okay, all 5 books will remain. Okay, 5 books will be there, but only for that book whose price is less than, the book whose price is less than 45, its price tag only will be getting deleted. Means this whole price tag only will get deleted. That will happen. So it is up to you how you are writing the script. Carefully you have to use it. ठीक है, got it? And then we will see ki how to create a complete entire XML only from scratch. You can do it. Provision is given. ठीक है, Python has again I say Python, this library, the first one which we are using, two libraries are there. No? One is that minimal DOM and first is element tree. So these libraries are giving facility. So they say you can create an entire document from scratch, from zero you can do it. It's possible. ठीक है, तो how to do it? So you have to create an object of element, but who gives you? So that is sub element. Use this or directly create an object of class element. That is also possible. So the sub element function also provides a convenient way to create a new sub element for given element, which I did it in the case of publisher, right? I created an object E of class element. To the constructor I gave the tag name and then I appended it. Is it? So you can use this function as well. Okay, see, here an example. We will do it. I'll tell you the process. See. So first, if I want to create a root element, so I'll create an element object. Get it? Then you want to add 3 child element to this root element. Note is going to act as a root now. And these are 3 child element, to, from and body. So to, from and body are 3 child element of this note. So how you do it? By creating calling function sub element. And to that you have to tell that these are going to be the child of who. So that parent element, pass it to the function and the tag name. Later you can give the text to it and it will return the reference of that child element. Whatever child element is created, it returns a reference of it. Okay? And if you want to just see till now what the tree is created, means what XML document is created till now, you can just call dump. It converts this whole thing into a string, XML string. This is XML string. And now if you want to save it in a file, so you cannot save a element. You have to save through element tree. Okay, to create an object of element tree. You can create an object of element tree also because it is also a class. So you are creating an object of element tree, passing to it the root element, and then by right you are saving it. Getting it? But instead of this, you can do it by append method also. See, here sub element, I could have done it by append. Getting? And append to whom? That root. Clear? I hope you're understanding. So this way also you can do. Example we will see. What we'll do is we'll create any other sample XML through this whole code. I'll show you. Okay, now this 2 lines we don't want because we are manually going to do everything, right? First I'll create root element, root object of element, et dot element. This is just a root element, but this is not part of the element tree. So that also you have to add, I'll tell you. To its constructor I'll give the tag name. So suppose I'm giving tag name as note. So my root element's tag name is note. Okay? Then I'm creating first child, suppose child 1, which is et dot sub element. Its parent is root and the name of the tag, this child which is created, whichever child is created, its tag name is 2. Okay? One more child I'll create. It is also the child of root, The only advantage of this sub element is while creating only you are telling it is child of who. If you are not using sub element and instead you are creating object, suppose I'll give you the difference between both. Okay, using sub element and you creating manually. This is one case. Or you could have done it this way also. Child 1 is et dot element 2, and then you have to write root dot append child 1. So instead of writing these two lines, these both lines are happening in this one only. You're getting the difference? Using function sub element, what sub element does is inside it creates an object of element only, and it appends also to some parent element, and it gives the tag name to it. Means these two lines are equivalent to this one line. What this sub element will do inside this sub element function, it's a function, it's not a class name. So this function inside will create an object of which class? Obviously it will create an object of which class? Element class. This it will give as a tag name to that new element, and it will append it as a child to this parent which you have passed to it. So instead of writing these two lines, it becomes easy to write it in one line. And moreover, that child which is added, clear? Its reference also it returns. Get it? So I hope you're understanding the difference between this line and these two lines. Means can I say these two lines and this one line is same? Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Clear? So the benefit, like they have given such provision. Okay, so suppose I'm creating one more child for that root only. Here I'm giving from, then one more child, body suppose. Okay, example I have given, right? So 2 from and body. So 3 child with the tag name 2, tag name from, tag name body are added to root element, and the root's tag name is note. Now this 3 child will have some text content also. So tag 1 child 1 dot text equal to Ram. Child 2 dot text, that is from, is but obvious Sita, and child 3 dot tag is don't forget me this weekend. Okay, and suppose I'm giving some attributes also. Some attributes I want to give. To whom? To this third child. So can we give attribute? Yes. Child 3 dot set, give the attribute name, like attribute name and giving size value equal to 10 KB. Child 3 dot set priority and giving high. Okay, so 2 attributes, sorry, child 3 I go. So to that third child I have given 2 attributes as well. You can give attribute to other also, but I have given 2 attributes to the third child. Now these 3 child are in the root. Now root should be part of your element tree, because I told you in this type of parsing, in this parsing, the entire document is considered as element tree object, and each element is an object of class element. So now I am going to create an object of element et dot element tree. You understanding? So element tree class object also you can create, because they are classes. If they are class, what obvious you can create objects of it, right? So I'm creating object of elementary, and to that I'm passing root element. Okay, done. Now this is in memory. You just want to see the memory XML. What XML is created in memory. So you can just write root.dump. Okay, root.dump only. Okay. And only this much if you run and see. It was root.dump only. One minute, just let me see. Oh, it is a method of your ET. It's not a method, it's a function of your ET library. As this is a function. Sorry, this is a class. This one function, sub element, is a function in that ET library. The same way. So I just did one mistake. Okay. Yes, I have to give the root element. See, is it converted to note/note? This will act as root element. Then first child element is to, second child element is from, and third child element is body. Then their text are Ram, Sita, and don't forget me this weekend. And this third child is having two attributes also, size and priority. But this whole thing is in memory. This is a memory XML. Now this whole XML I want to save in a file as well. Okay. So what I'll write, tree.write, and give the file name. Now I'm giving file name note1.xml. Okay. Okay, now you can see here one file note1.xml is also created. And you open and see, is that whole XML saved in it. Getting? If you put a enter over here, then you'll realize it, how the children are added. Getting?
Sir, why did we created a object tree?
You have to, because write method is to tree object only, no?
Okay.
If I want to save this whole memory XML,
Just for saving it.
so to save it in the file, you need write method, and write method is of elementary class. So you have to put your entire root element in that elementary class, and then you can call write